Hello dear students, in the previous class you know very well I am explaining the features of joint stock companies. I written those concepts already covered, that is the first one artificial person, the second one separate legal identity or the separate legal entity may be considered separate legal entity. Third one is a formation, and now I am going to explain the fourth one, that is a perpetual succession. Yes, a company being a creation of a law. Okay, perpetual succession means a company is a creation of a law. It can be brought to an end by the law only. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೋ, ಕಂಪನಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕಾನೂನಿನ ರೀತಿಯೊಳಗೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಕಾನೂನು ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾನ್ಯತೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ದ ಕ್ಲೋಸರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್, ಓಕೆ, ದ ಲಾ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಓಕೆ ಬ್ರಾಟ್ ಟು ಆನ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲಿ. ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, a company is a creation of a law and its existence can be brought to an end only by the law. It means there must be a specific procedures must be there for closure of a company business. Okay, as and when we wish, yes, we are going to close the business of the company, then that is not possible in this case. But in case of a sole proprietorship, as and when the sole proprietors, okay, sole proprietor desires to close that business, yes, he can close that business. In case of a partnership, if anything happens to one partner in that partnership, there may be chances the remaining partners may not interested to continue that partnership business. On that moment also, they can put to an end for such kind of a business also. But in case of a joint stock company, the closure of a business is not so easy, because there must be a specific procedures. There must be some legal procedure must be there for a closure of company's business. That is particularly that should be followed, then only it will be considered as winding up of the business. It means the members may come and the members may go out of the business. That will not affect the perpetual succession of the company. It means perpetual succession means it continues the existence. Okay, its existence continues even though, okay, even though the members may come and members may go out of the business. Andre ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ ಮತ್ತು ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಈ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಯನ್ನು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಆ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂಥ ಧಕ್ಕೆ ಉಂಟಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ತನ್ನ ಅಸ್ತಿತ್ವವನ್ನು ಕಳೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ದೆನ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್. ಎಸ್, ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ the control and the management of affairs of that company will be lies in the hands of the board of directors. It means whatever the activities relating to that company, the management of that company will lies in the hands of board of directors. These directors or these members, okay, elected by the shareholders of that company, and these managing directors or the board of directors are considered as the chief managing body of that company. And also these board of directors have a full authority to appoint top level officials for the running of the business. And these board of directors are directly responsible for the running of the business. They are directly responsible for that activities of that business. And one more thing, the shareholders of that company, they are not okay directly involved in the managing of the activities of the company. These companies are managed by the board of directors by appointing employees, some officials to manage that business. It means these shareholders are the contributors of a capital. These shareholders are considered as the contributors for the capital of that company. They are interested in taking dividends on their contribution. ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುವಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ತದೆ, ಈಗ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಕಂಪನಿಗಳದಾವು. ಕಂಪನಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಷೇರುಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಕೂಡ ಆ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಓನರ್ಗಳೇ ಆಗಿರ್ತೀರಾ. ಈಗ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಟೇಕ್ ಎನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ IBM ತಗೊಳ್ರಿ, ರಿಲಯನ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ರಿ, TCS ತಗೊಳ್ರಿ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡೆಲ್ ತಗೊಳ್ರಿ. ನೀವು ಬೇಕಾದ ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ತಗೊಳ್ರಿ. ಈಗ MNC ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗಳೇನಿರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಷೇರುಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ನಾವು ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿ ನೋಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ the persons those who are invested in equity shares or the persons who purchase the equity shares of the company, then equity shareholders are considered as the real owner of that company. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಇರ್ತಾರ, ಕಂಪನಿಯನ್ನ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರ. And one more thing, these board of directors are directly accountable to the shareholders, because these shareholders elected the members. They considered as these members are the board of directors of that company. So the board of directors are directly accountable to the shareholders for profits and losses arises on such business. Then we will move on to the next one, sixth one, liability. Yes, the liability of the members of this type of companies are limited to the extent of the contribution made in that company. And one more thing, unlike sole proprietorship, partnership of 4, but in case of a joint stock company, the liability of the shareholders are limited to the extent of the contribution made in the company or the number of shares purchased by the shareholders of that company. It means the shareholders' liabilities are limited to the extent of the number of shares held by them. One example they given here. For one example, in case of a liability, how persons, in case whatever the debts relating to, whatever the debts or loan or any borrowings done by the company, or the company is responsible for the outside liabilities. If the assets and the liabilities of that company is not sufficient to pay the outside debts of that company, but the creditors can recover their amount. The creditors can recover their amount by having an authority to have a control over the asset of the companies. There may be chances whatever the loan or whatever the investment made by the creditors to the company, on such moment any asset, it means these creditors have a authority to sell the asset of that company. It means the personal property or the personal property asset of the shareholders will not be used for repaying the debts of the company. A situation may arise. The situations may come. It means if a person is purchased 1,000 shares of rupees 10 each, but he paid only 7 rupees. If in case the property or the amount relating to that company is not sufficient to pay the outside debts, on that moment the company may ask the shareholders, those who are not yet paid the unbalanced amount borne on the purchased sales. Yes, the liability of this shareholder is limited to the extent of rupees. Note, ಇಲ್ಲಿ receivables 1000 into 3, then 3000 is the liability. Okay, the 3000 is the liability of that shareholders. He has to pay 3000 in the event of any loss incurred by the company. More than this, he will not be liable for paying the amount for the company. For example, and here 10,000 sales of 1,000 sales of rupees 10 is 3, 10,000 up. It means his liability is how much? 10,000. But he paid only how much? He paid only 7,000 rupees to the company. He purchased 1,000 sales. But remaining 3,000 is considered as the liability of the shareholders in the event of or in the case of loss incurred by that company. Okay, his personal property or his personal assets will not be used for repaying the liability of the company. So then we will move on to the 7th one, common seal. Yes, a company may or may not have a common seal. Why common seal is important? Is there any legal documents which are belongs to the company or at the time of making contract with others? Okay, the documents which are considered as a legal document, on such document a common seal will be affixed on that documents. So that purpose a common seal is required. There may be chances, sir, if we don't have any common seal, sir, if we don't have common seal of our company, on such moment what we will do? A authorized person will be elected by the members of that company by passing an ordinary resolution in the meeting. It means a person, an authorized person signature, okay, is necessary for such document. Okay, such a person signature is considered as a valid signature on such documents. It means the company may have its common seal. Yes, okay, if that company is having a common seal, then that common seal will be affixed on the documents which are necessary for the company. Or the company does not have any common seal, then an authorized person signature is necessary on such documents. Such authorized person's signature is considered as a valid. Okay, that should be passed in the ordinary resolution in the meetings. Then we will go on to the last one, risk bearing. Yes, compared to sole proprietorship, compared to joint in the family business, and compared to partnership also, the liability of the sole proprietorship or proprietor is also unlimited. There is no chance of spreading the risk to others. But in case of a joint in the family business, the karta is having an unlimited liability, and it is not possible for the karta to spread the risk. And in case of a partnership also, the personal property or the personal asset of the partners will be used for paying the liability relating to the persons. But in case of a risk bearing, if any losses arises on such a business, on such a moment, here the number of shareholders are huge. Okay, there is no limit for number of shareholders of that company. So the liability, whatever the concept I explained, the liability that comes under here. It means any loss arises on such a business, such a loss is okay spread over or spread into okay different members. That loss will be spread into all the shareholders of that company. Then obviously the risk bearing capacity is more in case of a joint stock company. It means the liability of the members are also limited to the extent of the contribution made by them in the company. So risk bearing is good in case of a joint stock company compared to the previous form of business organizations. Okay, after this I will move on to the merits and limitations of a joint stock company, that will be explained in the next class. Okay, thank you.